Welcome to Company Culture Podcast. Today, I'm going to give you 10 things that are changing about work and that need to change about the way you think about work, the way that you manage and lead, the way your company operates. They're going to be laid out in a very clear fashion because...
10 things?
10 things.
Wow.
10 things. Boom.
That's a lot.
It's all out of a book that is coming out called An Evolution at Work. You're being some of the first to see it. At any rate, and it's a really fast read, quick hit thing.
It's GCCA's first book.
It's GCCA. You're right. It is the Global Company Culture Association first book. But first, we have to talk about this last weekend because we just came off of Halloween.
Whoa, I'm
right?
Halloweened out.
Yeah, we went to a couple of fun parties, and okay, so look there. Check this out, and I'm going to see how savvy our watchers are, because we went as Mysterious Ways. That's what we told people. We are Mysterious Ways. And if you notice, Elise is in a belly dancer costume, okay? And what am I dressed as? Come on, you've got this. Bono! So if you know the song Mysterious Ways, right? She moves in mysterious ways. We just thought it'd be a fun little deal. In fact, in honor of that today, I'm actually wearing my Bono jacket. This is my Bono jacket. And I'll tell the story real quick. We're in Santa Fe. We're in a little boutique. And the lady says, hey, by the way, our jackets, our leather jackets are half off. Well, you know, you have me at leather jacket. You can't have too many jackets. So at any rate, I go and I'm looking at it and I'm going, wow, this is really cool. And I looked at the price tag. Wow, this is still pretty pricey even at half off. And then she told me the thing she shouldn't have told me. She said, by the way, that's that line from that musician and his wife, Bono? And I went, you took one look at me. This is about a year ago. You took one look at me.
We're leaving the store with it.
We're leaving the store with that.
know,
you got to buy that. And I'm so
happens.
glad you taught me into it because it's like one of my new favorites.
Something about Santa Fe. Every time we go there, we
spend money. And so we can't go to Santa Fe.
Really?
So at any rate, so that was our costume. When we got to Real News PR today, they were talking about somebody had dressed up as a coworker and come to work. And that also got me thinking about the Halloween theme. So my first book, Call Whiteboard, was published by Millie Brown, her great crew, Brown Books.
They did a great job.
Right?
It was a great, very
They really
pretty
did a great job.
We just moved to the 6x6. So,
yeah, we moved and started going a different direction. But Tom Real was the one that kind of shepherded the project. Well, they have a tradition at Brown Books.
Really?
Before we get into the 10 things, they have a tradition at Brown Books that they dress up like one of their authors. And a few years ago, Tom Real decided to go as me.
Ha ha ha.
Take a look at this. Now, how funny is that?
You're missing a few bracelets, Darren.
Yeah, I know. I'm wearing fewer bracelets, I think, these days, but he's actually mimicking that photo that was shot at by Real News PR, actually, a number of years ago.
Why?
When my hair was even longer.
Why did we do the prayer thing? It's like meditation?
It was meant to be a power move.
No, it kind of looks like what you do
like a
before
power
you go
move.
kapow.
Right? Power move. Like I'm saying, it was very. At any rate, so when Tom sent me that photo, I couldn't stop laughing for a long time. So hopefully, if you celebrated Halloween, you had a good time. I know we certainly had fun. We didn't go to near as many parties.
Feel
but
free
we
to
just
post your
went to
Halloween
a couple
pictures
of,
underneath. I'd love to see some of y'all.
Let's see what you went as.
Let's see some interesting costumes.
Okay, so let's talk about an evolution at work.
All
and
right. What's number one? You said 10.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Number one. So these basically, I make the case in the first 6, 7, 8 pages of the book. Why it matters, why culture matters. The whole book itself is like 49.
Why culture? Why work evolving matters? You mean?
Why work evolving matters. That look. Things evolve, okay? We do things very differently.
We shop differently.
Everything,
we
right?
Eat differently.
We date differently. We travel differently.
I read an article recently that millennials spend most of their money on takeout.
Seriously?
Yeah, and the reason why so many of them don't buy houses because they're always getting takeout.
They're spending it on food. On takeout.
A lot of them are foodies.
Does anybody cook at home anymore? We do every once in a while, but it's not. I mean, there's even a shift in that, right? Just lifestyle shift because people are busy, get home, maybe the last thing you want to do is go cook a meal. Although I think cooking's pretty therapeutic.
I think it's
but-
great now that Tom Thumb's across the street, so we can like pick the food for that day. Otherwise, we get all the ingredients, they go bad with all the travel. It just sits in the fridge.
Much easier though if we do it by the day. So that's like our dream come true. Okay, so here's the first one. Here's what needs to evolve. Everyone leads. Everyone leads. Positional power is increasingly less effective in a full access world. So think about positional power. I'm the boss. Do what I say. I told you to do it. I actually talk in a company of owners about, there it is. And by the way, the book laid out visually really stunning. It's 6x6 like my other books.
Thanks to Will von
The
Bolton.
great Will von Bolton laid this book out.
Coming
and
out, just let us know. We'll get you his contact.
We'll get you
He's really fantastic.
connected with Will, and actually some of the colors and all that. That's all the Global Company Culture Association's coloring, and that's that has an element in it as well. But the do what I say because of the title on my door mentality is done. It's fried. So I say in a company of owners, command and control is dead. Put a fork in it already. So that's the big shift. Everyone leads. There's no more leaders at companies and followers. There's no more that whatever part of the company or the job that you're supposed to be owning, you ought to be owning
What's
it,
an
right?
example of somebody else leading besides a leader? You said everyone leads, so
Well, because traditionally we've had people that if I walked into a traditional company and
Right.
said, "Hey, who are the leaders at your company?"
Right.
It's like when you ask high school kids, "Hey, how many of you are artists?" And only a few raise their hand if they're majoring in art, right?
Right.
Kindergartners, they all go, everybody raised their hand. I'm an artist. I just drew a clown. I just did a thing. So if you say, who are the leaders at your company? They go, oh, well, there's so-and-so down the hall.
CFO,
and there's this person and that person. Bam, wrong answer. Because if I walk in to a company and I say to somebody who is, the receptionist or whatever, and I said, who are the leaders at your company? What you want is everybody standing up and going, well, we're all leaders. Are you kidding? Every single one of us, we're leaders. We take care of the company. We look for opportunities for growth. So when you get companies with high performing, then everybody really considers himself to be contributing to that. I keep talking about, I know we got to get out there and shoot it, but I'm really excited about meeting Gary Ridge, the founder of WD-40.
we really need to schedule that. I think it'd be really fun.
We're gonna go, but they don't even call them managers anymore. They call them coaches. Okay.
Oh, that's much better.
And one of their lines is that our job is.
I'd rather be coached than managed.
Who wouldn't, right?
Right.
So they talk about from like a school setting. Our job is not to mark your paper. Our job is to help you get the A. So
makes sense.
Everyone
Just like
leads.
Microsoft calling their, building, office, campus.
Campus, yeah,
Right.
I
They
love
call it
that. I
campus.
love that.
They don't call
so,
it work.
Yeah, it's not. It's we've
You're
got to
on
restructure this. 2, outcomes, not activity. Results matter is not how much time you spend, it's what you produce. So old school managers stand at the door to see who arrives first and last. Smart leaders say, hey, what are you producing? And that's what I care about. We've talked about this on a previous episode, so I won't camp out here, but simply looking busy is a useless waste of energy.
So many people do it.
And hey, if you get your work done and you crushed it and then you did some above and beyond stuff, and then, you're done a couple hours early, take off, go home. I mean, it ought to be the results you're looking at, not when people walk in and
I worked
walk
at a
out.
company where when I finished all my daily chores and it's really slow, there's not a lot of guests, there's not a lot of, anything to do, then I would stand next to my desk and, I wouldn't be doing anything because I don't want to look busy when I'm not. I mean, I want to be given something else to do. So I'd be like, hey, my boss, hey, got anything else you need doing? Something I could clean or something I could do, file.
Yeah, find something to do.
And she says, no, go home.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done.
You got your stuff done. Go home.
home.
Okay, number 3. Humanocracy rules. Now, what do we mean by humanocracy? Well, let's do a little ocracy discussion, okay?
What's a humanocracy?
Well, so anything that ends with ocracy is kind of an organized group of behaviors or whatever. So you've got democracies, You've got meritocracy. So a meritocracy,
Is that where your marriage has an ocracy?
marriageocracy is a different one.
Okay.
No, meritocracy is a company that, what would you think that you get judged based on if it's
Merits.
a meritocracy?
Yes.
Boom. Yeah. So in a meritocracy, it's how are you performing? They don't look at how long you've been there, tenure. Oh, you're going to get the promotion because you've been here longer than this person. In a meritocracy, they go, yeah, you've been here longer, but they're outselling, outperforming you by double, you know? So guess what? Based on their merits,
The badasses.
they're going to get the promotion, they're going to get the raise, they're going to get whatever the case may
Very
be.
nice. Next
So,
one.
plurocracy.
What's that?
I can't remember right off the top of my head. But I mean, Google it. There's a long list of ocracies for all sorts of things, right?
Plurocracy.
So I think
Is that where you have to be plurally married to work there?
I'm not
can't figure it
sure
out.
what that even means, but no.
Plurocracy.
I think it's a plurality where there's a lot of mix of different things, but we'll have to Google this. So humanocracy, though, is getting back to the human element of the company.
Okay.
So we need to start thinking about companies as collections of people, not about the building, not about the products, not about all of that stuff. But we've got to get back to by the people, for the people, because that's really what work is about. So instead of, for example, I say in here,
Kinda
stop
makes me-
talking about people as head count, assets, end users, consumers. And instead of saying something like, we need to meet this deadline, if you're focused on the people, then you would say something like, hey, there are people we really care about waiting on our work. Let's get this done for them. How much more motivating is that then? You need to meet the deadline, right?
Yeah.
Hey, let's take care of the people that are waiting on this.
It reminds me of a story. What was it? Ticketmaster, Ticketron, where the people, even though something got wiped, I can't remember the system.
No, you're talking about GoDaddy. No, it wasn't GoDaddy. It was Rackspace, I believe.
No, I think it was GoDaddy actually.
Maybe it was GoDaddy.
Well,
But
anyways, I can't remember what
the people
company-
showed up. When they had a problem, they showed up without being asked to because they cared about taking care of the company and the customers, right?
Right,
We got to take care of our customers. So characteristics of a humanocracy, rattle these through real quick. People matter, multiple points of view are valued. Authenticity abounds. We take care of each other. Diversity, inclusion are a reality. Ideas are valued and developed, and people have options.
Whoa, number 4.
You ready?
Yep.
Bring your brain.
Now, this seems like an obvious one, considering I don't think I could leave home without it.
Okay, good point. But at a lot of jobs, people are asked to kind of check their brain at work. I don't want to hear your ideas. I don't
True.
want to just do what I told you.
The whole, I'm the boss. I said, just go do it.
You know, I worn out the quote from Henry Ford, but why when I ask for a pair of hands do I get a brain? Clearly, he didn't want you to bring your brain to work, but you want a company that where people's brains are encouraged. We were just at Saatchi Saatchi. I just like saying that. Saatchi Saatchi. So I did they have this evidently really elite speaking thing.
Really need to go down the list of words that are just fun to say.
Saatchi Saatchi is definitely one, and they're getting a lot of publicity for this. But one of the most iconic ad agencies around the world, and they're in every major city, and they also happen to be in Dallas, Texas, right across the street from where we live and office and everything else. So they have this thing they've done. Speaker series, and I'm number 3 to ever have done it.
Wow.
And it was an honor, but I got to be there with all the creatives, and we talked about it. And the reason I bring them up, because Team One is also a part of that team. They were there. Team One does everything for Toyota, right?
Wow.
Have you heard of this company? Toyota?
Gee, I don't know.
So Toyota, one of the most successful car companies of all time, and contrast the why when I ask for a pair of hands do I get a brain with Toyota, who wants ideas from every employee. In fact, I think they're required to bring like 40 ideas a year.
And we're going to be interviewing their CEO, Saatchi Saatchi.
Saatchi Saatchi.
That's
Yes,
right.
we are.
Very
Watch
soon.
for that coming soon. Global Company Culture Association on Real Talk. So we'll have Stan Richards and we'll have the CEO of the Dallas office from Saatchi Saatchi. So number 5. Are you ready?
Number.
We could do a show on every one of these actually,
Number?
but
It's a number?
organisms, not organizations. I think
Wait. Organisms? Like,
yeah.
Like
Like
parasites?
people.
Oh.
You're an organism.
Sorry.
So think about the way an organism works. All parts are connected. They're all interdependent.
It's true.
Organizations are siloed. We discussed this on a previous episode, but
You always
you
say
want an interconnected organism.
You always say if you dropped an anvil on your foot, your hand wouldn't be saying, "Oh, thank God it wasn't me."
Exactly.
Right? Your whole body would be in pain, especially if it was your toe, just your big toe. Just stub your big toe. Just forget
Pain.
it. Forget it. That's like the next
Pain.
half an hour of your life and shriveled up somewhere. So.
Absolutely. So I was thinking about the last time I got hurt, and it was actually last week because I was trying to take care of you, and I put a blanket
In the microwave. Who puts blankets in microwaves?
Look, I got up. It was really cold that morning. I wasn't there to keep you warm.
Check the type of fabric. Oh
And-
my goodness.
And so I go and I get one of our favorite blankets and I
Could've
fold it
set
up,
the house on
and it
fire. You're
fit
so
really
sweet.
nicely.
You're so
It fit
sweet.
really nicely in the microwave. I put it on 2 minutes just to get it nice and warm. I was going to bring it to you. And I noticed there was kind of a slight smell, so I put it out, pulled it out a little early. I just got that blanket out of there, and it felt like, oh, it's kind of warm. And then I started to unfold it, and all of a sudden I feel this burning sensation, and I don't know
Owie. Oh.
how close can you get in on that, because you would have to get really, really close. I'm just kidding. Now it's just like a almost healed wound, but thank you so much.
Kisses.
And then I started noticing.
Well, you
that-
burned your hand. Wait, you burned your hand, so you tossed the blanket. And when I got out, little poor Cece the puppy is like, "This smells very yummy." Rip, rip, rip.
Trying to
I'm
chew
like,
on
why
it.
are you ripping the blanket,
It
child?
was bad. It melted on itself. It got all over my robe. It was bad.
I was brown too.
So,
And when
yeah.
I woke up, I was like, "Is there poop on your
There's
robe?
one
What
of the
is that?"
dogs poop on your anyway, that was way too much information. So organisms, not organizations.
funny.
By the way, what are the new ABCs? Always be closing? No. The new ABCs are always be collaborating.
Nice.
All right. Number 6. Engage, enhance, enchant. Meaningful work engages and enhances body, mind, and spirit, and enchants the people who are working there.
That's right. If we're gonna enchant, everybody should have a Harry Potter wand, ASAP.
That's not quite the enchantment we mean, but we've got to start thinking about work in terms of being meaningful for people.
Yeah.
Although
You want people coming in on Monday morning happy to be there, because I'm excited to finish that project I started on. I need my time off on the weekend, but it's Monday. Yay, I get to get started on that video that I wanted to edit and chop and whatever.
and how cool is it if people come back from, say, a 2-week vacation or a 4-week vacation, and they're excited to get back to work, because
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the people. I love being a part of this company. Catch me up. What's going on?
When I worked at D
that's the way
Magazine,
it should
every
be.
Monday was a joyous occasion. I loved getting up in the morning and coming to work.
Yeah, and you'd enjoyed your weekends. Not that you didn't have a life, but it's
enjoyed my
like,
whole
hey,
day.
I want to go in. I love this place. I want to be a part of it. Okay, number 7. Performance over politics. Performance over politics. So
What do you mean?
only accept performance multipliers.
Okay.
So if whatever it is not helping, if it's another person, they're not helping us perform at a higher level, may want to have a conversation, right? If the equipment isn't helping us perform at a higher level, then maybe we need to swap out the equipment, right?
Yes.
Instead of sitting there watching computers are the worst, where you're watching the spinning,
That's a major one.
So have zero tolerance for poisonous people,
Yes.
broken, outdated equipment.
I think that poisonous people is the hardest one to implement.
That's
it's the whole fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fired. You just turn your blind eye. Just go do your job. Just stop. Go.
It's the hardest one to implement, but it ought to be the easiest one, because that you can deal with, right?
Right.
There's no capital expenditure to saying, I'm sorry, you're poisonous, you're out of here. But if you got to replace everybody's computer, that can get a little expensive. But zero tolerance, broken, outdated equipment, bureaucratic processes. When you do things just because that's the way we've always done it, and it makes it difficult.
That's the way we've always done it. Fill this form
The bane of every company.
in black ink. Place 2 copies in a folder and put it on my desk.
You do that so well. By the way, I went and got my license renewed.
Oh yeah.
And before I went, because I asked, where is the least tedious place I can go get my license renewed? And they were giving all sorts of instructions.
Tedious?
Go to this
You
place.
mean like least crowded?
You know how it is going into the DMA and or the
DMV.
The DMV or
Oh,
whatever
no.
it
Last
is.
time I was there for 3 hours.
Okay, so everybody gave all these suggestions. Well, it turned out I was in Forney doing some work for a company,
Right.
And so I just zipped down a couple of people had recommended Terrell, so I went down to Terrell. One of my buddies had sent me that sloth video of the DMV from Zootopia, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever because they move so slow, right? So I cracked up when I walked into the Terrell DMV because they had sloths hanging up, and I thought,
Hilarious.
we're going to get along just smashingly because they're
they were
making
really
fun of
fast.
themselves. They were great. They were fantastic, and they were funny and fun and having a good time. So, all right, number 8.
8.
Rounding the corner,
Can't believe we're almost there.
multiple points of view.
Yes.
Have we done a show on this? I want to do a whole show on just
We
point
should
of
do
view.
a whole show on this.
So the most successful people have a purposeful ability to see many other points of view.
That's right. Narrow-mindedness will kill a company.
Hey, if all you know is your point of view, but you don't know how the people you're assigning the work to, what their point of view is, or if you're the sales department, you're like, sell, 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 but you have no idea what it's like in manufacturing.
No idea what it's like in accounting when you do sell, and you don't,
And you didn't fill
don't
out the stuff right.
You didn't
or
give them all the info they
how
needed.
much
How can
work?
they cut your check? You just don't think about it because I'm here to sell. That's not my problem.
Yeah, so that's point of view, and great companies have multiple points of view. And one of the ways they do that, by the way, is having a lot of diversity.
I like the idea of having people move around. So like have one person. If you, let's say you work in marketing and you're directly impacted by another department, you should spend at least one day working in that department.
I love that as a concept and idea where you swap and you go.
Even
and you
if you're
see.
still doing most of your work, but you're going to sit in that department, hear all those conversations, hear what they struggle with, because it will change your point of view.
So here's a challenge. If you're watching this episode, you've got a really small company with 3 people, or you've got a really large company with 300,000 people. Pick some other functions, okay? With the 3 people, it'll be easy. Pick some other functions. What must it be like to work in the warehouse, okay? What must it be like to work in accounting or to work in IT, okay?
What must it be like to
every
pick
time
up the trash when people don't put it
when
into
they're
the
not
trash
taking,
can
when they come
properly?
into the bathroom and you're the janitor and you're cleaning the place and it looks like a train wreck, right? Because
Right.
people just throwing
Right.
stuff everywhere. So when you shift those points of view, it's amazing what happens. Now, if you can't do that, and or you suggest that point of view, but you get it wrong, then you may want to go ask somebody. Get in the hallway, go walk around, and say, "Hey, I've never done your job. What's it like working with our department?"
I think you're reminding me of Undercover Boss. I think every CEO, every leader should be an undercover boss at some point.
Absolutely, and be a maybe even a transparent boss. I don't like the title boss, you know that, but a leader who actually gets out, talks to people.
But you change when the owner shows up. People act differently. You know.
Yes.
If you really want to get to the root of anything, hire a makeup artist. Go to an office you don't usually go to, where people probably wouldn't have recognized you because they've never seen your picture or something.
Okay, sometimes
And
they
just
look pretty convincing. Let's be honest about the show, and sometimes they look just downright ridiculous.
right.
With the wig and the
but
thing.
when they
and
make
the,
them look ridiculous,
Yeah.
it makes them less conspicuous, especially if they were like a well-polished short hair,
Right.
and then suddenly they've got long hair and nose piercings. Yeah, I would never think in a million years, right?
Yeah, remember that episode where the person actually knew who he was? Like, I know who you are.
Oh,
and they had
my
to
goodness.
derail the whole show. Okay,
Busted.
multiple points of view. Cultivate, number 9, cultivate creativity. Develop places and spaces that amplify people and performance.
There you go.
So there's something about your physical environment. I mean, do we love this studio?
We do.
We love doing the show here. It's invigorating.
Saatchi and
Even
Saatchi
you
was
got the
beautiful,
whole
too.
thing with the people walking by, right? We took a tour of Saatchi and
Saatchi.
what a cool. Oh, their conference rooms are laid out like living rooms. We got to post some of those pictures, by the way.
Companies are starting to recognize that there's something important about the environment. If you make it beautiful, if you make it green, if you make it fun, if you make it homey, people will perform better.
So John Elajde, who we did a great interview with, that's up, I believe,
Real
on the
Talk,
Global
yep.
Company Culture Association site, and it was also featured in Company Culture Curated, which
Right.
people get every week if they're a member. And but that interview with John, he walked us around the conference room, and they have 42 different nationalities that work at the company, and so they did every conference room as a theme, as a country: Africa, Middle East, Europe. You know, they themed them
Right.
so that everybody would have a little bit. And talk about multiple points of view. When you purposefully hire 42 different nationalities to come work, you think you're going to get some different points of view? Yeah, absolutely. So cultivate creativity. I think in every office you ought to infuse art. I can't read my upside down writing. Infuse art, beauty, and fun in everything. Why not make work a dynamic place to be rather than like a lot of places that look like a bomb shelter?
Number 10, drum roll, please.
So if it's number 10, does that mean it's like the most important, or is number 1 the most important?
I think they're all the most important.
I think I would totally agree.
Keyring, all of them account.
Okay, so number 10, lead by listening.
Aha.
The best leaders are also the best listeners.
I say that in my book too.
To listen is to learn. Do you? You got that in there? Okay.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
I steal that from you?
No, I wasn't talking about leaders. I was talking about everyone. I was talking about how you need to listen. If you don't listen to your people, it's not just that. It's you take a survey, you ask the employees what they want, you get a few people who complain about something. And yes, it's true, some complaints need to be taken with a grain of salt because those people just like to complain. But then other stuff, just listen to it. Go find out some more about
You'd
this.
be surprised what people tell you if you just listen.
Right, just
So-
listen. I mean, it's not wrong for them to voice that they're uncomfortable or they don't feel like they like this thing or whatever the case.
So you know, one of my favorite 7 habits from Stephen Covey is seek first to understand and then to be understood. And I think when we did do our point of view show, we talked about this proverb, but he who or she who speaks before listening,
Right.
that is their folly and their shame.
Yes.
So you already know what you know. Leaders listen, and they learn a lot by doing that. So, and I love this quote at the end: always the more beautiful answer who asks the more beautiful question, from E.E. Cummings. And actually on the back, this to me kind of captures what we're talking about with needing to evolve the workplace. Companies need to change the way they manage and lead to match the way that modern humans actually work and live.
Wow.
The great Brian Halligan, CEO of HubSpot,
HubSpot.
of which we're a customer. So anyway, that's the evolution at work.
That's that.
We haven't, I don't know when it's coming out in book form, but it's going to come out in digital form.
It's definitely going to be available to our members.
It's going to be available to our members, and I think
Inside
we're
your
actually
portal.
going to give it to them free,
Yeah.
right, when they join. So go join the Global Company Culture
It's our first book, really, our
Association.
association membership.
It's the first that's got the imprint, right, of GCCA on it. So go join Global Company Culture Association. You're going to get a couple of things. You're going to get a bunch of things. One, you're going to have access to all those videos we were talking about, Real Talk, some of the interviews with some of the most dynamic leaders that you can imagine, and we've got many more coming. I'm really excited about them. You're going to get access to a thing called Company Culture Curated. Okay, Company Culture Curated is a thing that comes out that gives you the top hit. This is what you need to know from this week,
What's
and it gives you
happening
summaries
right now in
it's
the
cliff
company
notes.
culture
It's the
space.
cliff notes of company culture, right? It talks about new tech tools. We're going to feature coming up, I think, a company called Fringe on there. What's Fringe? We'll get that, and you'll find out. And there's a lot of other stuff that comes along with it as well, and much more to come. But right now, it is a really dynamic time to be in the space of company culture because there's so much work to be done. So many companies that are in bad shape. And so, hey, if you're passionate about company culture, you belong in our group and you belong at the Global Company Culture Association.
Every culture can be made better. And when you're getting, like the company culture curated and you're getting access to other leaders talking about culture, you're giving yourself that chance to make your culture better. Because we know that culture affects everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we've got a guy in Australia. We'll do the big reveal later. But that is talking about being the representative in Australia. Got somebody we're talking to in India. So we really are ramping this up to be a more of a global thing. So we would love for you to come help us drive an evolution at work. Not only that, you're going to get equipped. You're going to level up. You're going to be the smartest person in the room or in the conference room or at your company talking about culture because you'll be able to, describe and say some of these things and what are the newest trends. Come be a part of it. We'd love to have you. Are you a member of the Global Company Culture Association?
I am.
Yeah, I am too. So we hope you'll join us too. So that's a wrap on Company Culture Podcast. Hey, if you like the show, if you love the show, share it, like it. By the way, it's on. You can see it on video. And or you can listen to it on any of the podcast channels as it's coming out, right? iTunes, et cetera, et cetera. So whether you're driving in the car, you obviously don't want to be looking at a screen, or you just want to watch it from the office. This ought to count as work, right? In fact, it is work. If you watch this show, I'm giving you full-on permission that you can watch this show on company time because you're actually learning how to make the company culture better.
I don't know that you can,
Have them call me. Just have whoever you get in trouble with pick up the phone and call me. I'd love to talk to you about that. All right.
Come on. We've already said this. I think that, if you're reading a book on marketing and you work in marketing, that should count as work.
Of course.
Like not work, but you should be able to do it in the office.
If you're reading a book on Borneo, you might be getting ideas from that you're going to use in others.
That's true. This is something we can debate on another show.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you, Elise. You're fabulous as always. And I'm going to take my Bono jacket on out of here. By the way, there are a few people on the planet that just don't like Bono, and I'm sorry if that's one of you, but I'm a big fan. So yeah. All right. Thank you.
I think the older we get, we should stop not liking anyone.
Now, see, that's another whole episode as well. Peace out.